A study of Japanese university students and recent graduates has revealed that writing on physical paper can lead to more brain activity when remembering the information an hour later. Researchers say that the unique complex spatial and tactile information associated with writing by hand on physical paper is likely what leads to improved memory. They say that actually paper is more advanced and useful compared to electronic documents because paper contains more one-of-a-kind information for stronger memory recall. The research is published in the journal Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience. Contrary to the popular belief that digital tools increase efficiency, volunteers who used paper completed the note-taking task about 25% faster than those who used digital tablets or smartphones. Although volunteers wrote by hand both with pen and paper or stylus and digital tablet, researchers say paper notebooks contain more complex spatial information than digital paper. Physical paper allows for tangible permanence, irregular strokes, and uneven shape like folded corners. In contrast, digital paper is uniform, has no fixed position when scrolling, and disappears when you close the app. The researchers say that their take-home message is to use paper notebooks for information we need to learn or memorize. In the study, a total of 48 volunteers read a fictional conversation between characters discussing their plans for 2 months in the near future, including 14 different class times, assignment due dates, and personal appointments. Researchers performed pre-test analysis to ensure that the volunteers, all 18 to 29 years old and recruited from university campuses or NTT offices, were equally sorted into 3 groups based on memory skills, personal preference for digital or analog methods, gender, age, and other aspects. Volunteers then recorded the fictional schedule using a paper datebook and a pen, a calendar app on a digital tablet and a stylus, or a calendar app on a large smartphone and a touchscreen keyboard. There was no time limit, and volunteers were asked to record the fictional events in the same way as they would for their real-life schedules without spending extra time to memorize the schedule. After 1 hour, including a break and an interference task to distract them from thinking about the calendar, volunteers answered a range of multiple choice questions, both simple, example, when is the assignment due, and complex, for example, which is the earlier due date for the assignments, to test their memory of the schedule. While they completed the test, volunteers were inside a magnetic resonance imaging (MRI) scanner, which measures blood flow around the brain. This is a technique called functional MRI, and increased blood flow observed in a specific region of the brain is a sign of increased neuronal activity in that area. Participants who used a paper datebook filled in the calendar within about 11 minutes. Tablet users took 14 minutes and smartphone users took about 16 minutes. Volunteers who used analog methods in their personal life were just as slow at using the devices as volunteers who regularly use digital tools, so researchers are confident that the difference in speed was related to memorization or associated encoding in the brain, not just differences in the habitual use of the tools. Volunteers who used analog methods scored better than other volunteers only on simple test questions. However, researchers say that the brain activation data revealed significant differences. Volunteers who used paper had more brain activity in areas associated with language, imaginary visualization, and in the hippocampus, an area known to be important for memory and navigation. Researchers say that the activation of the hippocampus indicates that analog methods contain richer spatial details that can be recalled and navigated in the mind's eye. The researcher explains that the digital tools have uniform scrolling up and down and standardized arrangement of text and picture size, like on a web page. But if we remember a physical textbook printed on a paper, we can close our eyes and visualize the photo 1/3 of the way down on the left side page as well as the notes we added the bottom margin. Researchers say that personalizing digital documents by highlighting, underlining, circling, drawing arrows, handwriting color-coded notes in the margins, adding virtual sticky notes or other types of unique markups can mimic analog-style spatial enrichment that may enhance memory. Although they have no data from younger volunteers, researchers suspect that the difference in brain activation between analog and digital methods is likely to be stronger in younger people. High school students' brains are still developing and are so much more sensitive than adult brains. Although the current research focused on learning and memorization, the researchers encourage using paper for creative pursuits as well. It is reasonable that one's creativity will likely become more fruitful if prior knowledge is stored with stronger learning and more precisely retrieved from memory. The researchers say that for art, composing music or other creative works, he will emphasize the use of paper instead of digital methods.